What if the real danger of narcissists isn't just their manipulation, but how they leave you questioning your own reality constantly? So, growing up, I had several narcissistic relationships with my own mother and also my grandparents as well, which ended up leaving me to getting married to a narcissist later on in my early adult life. And so it took me years to see the truth, but when I finally did, that is when everything changed for me. So today I'm going to deep dive into some psychological patterns, deep psychological patterns that narcissists use on their victims to keep them hooked and trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle. So today we're going to discuss the deep psychological, emotional, and spiritual truths of how they do this. The first three deep psychological patterns that you need to be aware of are one, the need for admiration and validation. So these narcissistic individuals seek external validation and approval and praise to bolster their fragile self-esteem. So they thrive in attention, getting attention out in public, especially flattery and recognition. And they can become really upset if they feel overlooked or underappreciated. So, to give you an example of this, so I have two examples that are coming to mind. One is when I was younger, me and my twin sister would go out with my grandmother to like one of those department stores like Belk, Dillard's, okay? And she would pick out the ugliest thing in the store on purpose because she knew that me and my twin sister would have like an intense emotional reaction and we would speak our truth and we would be like, I'm not wearing that. That's ugly. And so what she would do is she would throw it aggressively back onto the rack, make a scene out in public to the point where strangers were walking past us, just like stopping and staring at us like this. I mean, it was just so crazy. Okay. And then also another example would be you're out to dinner, you're trying to enjoy a nice dinner, and your mother or another narcissistic family member or significant other starts talking about an intense topic that is meant to be extremely triggering to everybody around you. And they're trying to draw attention to themselves, right? Like they don't care if people are getting angry, if they start becoming negative, if they start getting aggressive, whatever it is, right? Like they're trying to get attention from all of those around them, okay? Because their ego needs it for food, right? It's like food for their ego. That's like the best way I can describe it. Okay, which moves us to the next deep psychological pattern of lack of empathy. So they struggle to recognize and care about other people's emotions clearly, as well as the needs of others. So this makes their relationships with the victims and others shallow and exploitative. So they're going to take advantage of others without remorse, and also fail to offer support when others are in need. This is another example coming up. So every time that I would be sick, like whether I was experiencing cold symptoms or strep throat, living with my mother, it was always a competition. It was always, well, I feel worse than you, and oh, I'm just too tired to make you soup, or oh, I'm not going to the store. I already went out today. After I'm like bedridden and I cannot get up because I have a fever, a full-blown fever, I feel like garbage. I feel like shit, right? And there was just every excuse made possible to avoid helping me when I was desperately in need. Okay, I had nobody else to rely on, nobody else to take care of me, but just my narcissistic abuser. Okay, so they have a severe lack of empathy for those around them. So it doesn't matter if this is a friend relationship, an intimate relationship, or a blood relationship. Narcissists are the same through and through. Okay. And then lastly, we have the deep psychological pattern of manipulation and gaslighting. So narcissists manipulate situations and other people around them to reinforce their sense of control and superiority. So gaslighting is one of their common tactics that they use. And also they will use shame and guilt to manipulate others into meeting their needs. So I have another two examples. One is this current woman that I work with. She will experience something with one of my coworkers and then turn around and distort everybody else's reality by sharing a totally different story of something that never even happened. And the way they get away with this is because those other people that weren't there to experience the original encounter in the first place, okay, if they never see this person being toxic and they never experience that original situation, that original encounter, and then that narcissist comes over here and says, oh, well, this is actually what happened. And they start gaslighting, distorting reality to maintain their sense of superiority and control. So that way, this group of people or this individual goes back to the other person and looks at that other person like, oh, you're a motherfucker, right? Like, you're a piece of shit. How dare you? How dare you lack empathy, right? Like, they're all doing this on purpose. This is all calculated. And then another example is so like my mother would sit there and make all of these noises out in public, at home, like all of these exaggerated, like dramatic noises of like struggle. Okay, when she really wasn't struggling, she was trying to use guilt and also shame to manipulate me into making me feel sorry for her and making me do all these things for her when she was totally able-bodied to do it and she could totally do everything for herself, but she just didn't want to because she was lazy. Okay. So those are three deep psychological patterns that you need to be aware of that narcissists will use to make you start questioning your own reality, like the very fabric of your reality and how dangerous that is. Okay. So the real danger of narcissistic abuse totally shatters your connection to who you truly are, leaving you disoriented, disconnected, and questioning the very fabric of your reality. So, this is the kind of trauma that lingers beyond the immediate relationship. Okay. This totally affects, like, this narcissistic abuse totally affects how you see the world, how you trust, and how you love. So, the silent, insidious impact of narcissistic abuse is that it rewires your brain, it erodes your emotional and spiritual health. Okay. And it also leaves you wondering whether you're worthy of happiness, love, and peace. And it's not just a relationship problem, this is a deep identity crisis. Okay. And there's a deep psychotherapy theory on how all of this is tied in together. And I can also go into a future video if you guys want me to. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, engage with this video if you want me to continue doing a series on more of exposing other deep psychological patterns that narcissists do and that they engage with their victim. Okay, so reclaiming yourself after narcissistic abuse is not only about leaving the narcissist behind, but it's about healing at the deepest core of yourself, reclaiming your soul's power, and then rediscovering the truth of who you really are. Okay. Somebody who is worthy, somebody who does deserve love, somebody who does deserve peace, someone who does deserve freedom, autonomy, independence. Okay. And so here are some actionable takeaways that you guys can start doing today in order to reclaim your power. So, first step is acknowledging the abuse. Start writing down and even recording the narcissist abuse. I did this with my own mother one day because there was something in me that was like, okay, I feel like this is toxic what she's doing, and I don't know like what it is. Like I couldn't label it as narcissistic behavior, but I just knew it was toxic. And so I started recording myself. I started recording myself of her doing one thing and then turning around and distorting my reality like the next time or the next day or the next conversation that we would have about the same topic. So there was, what was it about? It was like an instance of financial abuse. Okay, so I can't even remember. It was about like buying groceries or something. And I was like, okay, well, I can like pay for my own groceries. It's not that big of a deal moving forward. And then she was like, no, 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 like I'll pay for the groceries, but you can cook or whatever. And so like there was an argument that we had moving forward in the future of, well, I always pay for the groceries and you never pay for anything, right? Like it was that financial abuse, that narcissistic grip of control she was trying to hold over me of like, you never do anything and you never offer to help or you never like want to do anything. Okay. So yeah, start writing down, start documenting the abuse that's taking place, start noticing where you're having similar patterns or themes of behavior coming up. Start noticing that same emotional response that's getting evoked, okay, of like discomfort of, I've been here before, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to start writing this down, okay? Next step is developing boundaries for yourself. So start making a list of non-negotiables and also things that you're no longer going to tolerate moving forward in relationships. So, for example, I would say I started doing this when I started learning how to love myself within my own relationships. And I remember my ex-husband was like reaching out to me constantly saying things like, "Oh, I'll send you money. I'll do this, that, and the third if you do this for me." Right? Like it was all like a transactional relationship on his end because that is how narcissists function. They have transactional relationships. You give me this and I give you this, and then I hold this over your head because it's transactional. Okay. And so what usually is the best bet for you with narcissists is going no contact. And this is such a long, painful, emotional journey of going through. I mean, ending it, okay, with a loved one, like an intimate relationship, so like a marriage, okay. It probably took me a good like 2 years to fully get over that, move on and heal from that, grow, evolve, and start recognizing like what the fuck, like I am not worth going through a relationship like that. Like this is so like this narcissistic relationship truly is the bottom of the barrel. It is below hell. Like I didn't even see that because I grew up in hell. I lived in hell. Okay. And also, if you want to know more about me and my unique story, I just published a book for the first time ever. It is available on Amazon as a paperback as well as a Kindle, and it is called There Is No Energy More Powerful Than You. So, if you're somebody like me who also grew up in hell, was raised in hell, your relationships were hell, your just entire life was hell, and hey, you want to get to the other side, like this is possible for you. It is possible to start achieving a life of freedom. It is possible to start healing yourself. It is possible to start over at any point in time. So if you're looking for a book that is super deeply transformative, inspirational, and you really feel like you are at the bottom of the barrel in your life, like you have contemplated suicide, you have contemplated ending your life, which is something I did years ago, please read this book. I am here to show you and to embody that no matter how much adversity you face in all aspects of your life, there is no energy more powerful than you. Okay. Just had to throw that in there really quick. Okay. So yeah, going no contact with these narcissistic individuals. So doing that with a loved one is a lot easier than it is to do with your own blood because for me it was like I was going back and forth between, oh my gosh, is this a good idea? Is this a healthy idea? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then I asked myself, okay, am I asking this question from a wounded place or a healthy place? So, right, like sit in that healthy energy where your nervous system is regulated, you're breathing, you're not anxious, you're not depressed. You're like, okay, I'm in a good, grounded, calm, neutral state of being. You know, when you wake up from a nap and you're like groggy, but you're like in that perfect like state of neutrality, that is like the place to ask. The second that you get nervous, you start grinding your teeth, clenching your jaw, feeling anxious. Okay, you're starting to get worked up. Your body's starting to get triggered into survival, into fear, fight or flight. That is your indication that that is not a healthy relationship for you. Okay. So, I know it's so hard to go no contact with family members because they're your blood and there's this like societal obligation energy of, oh, well, that's your mom and oh, well, that's your sister or oh, well, those are your grandparents. Okay, well, those are the same individuals who are going to keep triggering your body and your nervous system into fight or flight. Those are the same relationships that are going to hold you down, keep you chained down in your life where you're never going to experience freedom in all aspects of your life. You're never going to have your dream reality. You're never going to have your dream relationships. Okay, so there is going to have to be a sacrifice that you're going to have to make in order to like choose you, to choose the best for yourself and for your life. Okay, so think about it this way: it's either I choose me, I choose 100% health, I choose a regulated nervous system, I choose a healthy gut, I choose a healthy body, I choose a healthy mind, I choose healthy everything, a healthy living situation, healthy friendships, a healthy financial situation, or I decide to cling to what is familiar and I decide to cling to those toxic relationship dynamics where I'm forever going to be stuck in the cycle of abuse, manipulation, gaslighting, and depression and sadness and grief. And it's just going to suck for you. And I don't want to see that for you. Okay. Because I've been there. And now that I have broken out of that cycle, I have literally escaped and I have now created a living situation of freedom and I'm still creating a life of freedom, still building that life of freedom. I am here to show you that it is very possible for you to do the same thing, okay? With like little to no money in your bank account. Like you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. All right. So, anyways, moving forward. Another actionable takeaway is rebuilding trust within yourself. So, learning to develop a connection with your intuition and your nervous system. I already have several videos of how to heal your nervous system on my YouTube channel, but if you guys want to see more of that, comment below. Please make a video on how to heal your nervous system from narcissistic abuse, especially after a lifetime narcissistic abuse. I will make that only if requested, okay? So, how do you start developing a connection with your intuition? The first step I took was cutting out sugar in my diet, not 100%, but really limiting my sugar intake. Now, some of you may be like, why sugar? Like, what's the significance of that? So, back in 2021, about 4 years ago, I went and did a like a mediumship reading because that was the moment in time where I was in the middle of exiting my narcissistic relationship in my marriage. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't know what my next steps are, but I know that I need to get out of this relationship. It's not good for me. Like, my health is suffering. I feel like I have tons of inflammation. I'm bloated. Like, this is just not good for me. Okay. And what my spirit guide said, what my non-physical support team said was, lower your sugar intake, reduce that like crazy amount, like to 10 grams or less a day. And so I started this, not sugar-free diet, but this super limiting sugar intake. And I started hearing and like feeling messages more that was coming from my higher self, like that divine guidance. Okay, and for those of you who have lost your spiritual connection and who have had your spiritual connection severely wounded due to a lifetime of narcissistic abuse, I am here to help you reclaim and reconnect to that spiritual power within yourself. Okay. So you don't have to go and read other spiritual books with religion and, getting involved with more narcissistic abusive cycles, because personally, I believe that all religions are narcissistic abusive cycles. Yes, they do have pieces of truth of certain ascended masters that are very real in the non-physical, but those belief systems, their entire systems are built on toxic masculinity energy of giving your power away to something, to another being. Okay, you're giving away your autonomy, your freedom of belief, your freedom of speech, your freedom of living your life. Okay, don't even get me started on that. But yeah, start learning to trust yourself. Okay, and if you guys want more videos on that, comment that below as well. Okay, next thing is actionable steps. Start healing your inner child. Okay, so you're gonna have to start reparenting your inner child. You're gonna have to give yourself the parenting that you never received. You're gonna have to start giving yourself the love that you never received. I know this is very triggering for a lot of you, but this is very real, and this is what's necessary in order to heal and overcome this abuse. So, for me, I had issues healing my inner child because one, I never felt safe to connect with her. It didn't feel safe to connect with her, trigger warning, because I experienced sexual abuse from a family member when I was 6 years old, which I also go into a little bit about that story as well in my book, um, and how I lived my life with those blocked memories and how healing from those blocked memories take time in my book as well. But anyways, so if you guys want more content on that, please let me know that as well. And then step 5 or step 6, I don't know what step we're on, which is reclaiming your power and independence. Okay, so start setting personal goals for yourself and following through with them. So one of my goals, I had a big goal of moving out of my narcissistic, abusive mother's home. I was like, how am I going to get out of here? I set the goal of saving up a certain amount of money so that I could pay for my security deposit, first month's rent, and also carry me through paying my bills month to month. And once I did that, I hit that goal. I was like, oh my God, you did this. Good job, Grayson. Congratulations. You freaking did it. Okay. So it's basically being your number one advocate and being your number one fan. That's what's going to take. I also had a goal of writing and publishing my first book. It took me 2 years, 2 years to talk about all of the physical, emotional, mental, financial, and sexual turmoil that I went through in order to overcome it and start stepping into my ultimate dream reality of freedom. Okay, so my living situation right now, I live in my own apartment far away from my own mother, or she cannot find me. And so now I have total freedom, total autonomy. I have reclaimed my sense of self, my sense of self-worth, my sense of independence, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, okay, in all of the ways. All right. And another way that you can start reclaiming your freedom from the narcissist is by cultivating certain activities that they discourage or dismiss. So this could look like maybe you're passionate about spending time painting. Okay, there's my painting in the background that I painted a while ago. It could be exercise. It could be swimming. It could be something weird. Okay, my weird thing is doing energy healing. My weird thing is finding different unique ways to perform energy healing on myself. So that way I don't have to pay to go to therapy. Like I can just heal myself naturally and organically through my own psychic gifts. Okay. And just the unique ideas and ways that I come up with doing that. All right. Um, so just figure out what that is for you. It could be journaling, it could be singing, right? Like you can create your own music. You don't have to be some famous artist and sell your soul and you know what I mean? Like you don't have to go through all that. Like you can literally, if you want to start creating music through sound bowls or through different instruments or poetry, whatever it is, like just start doing it. Like this is your life. This is your canvas. You have the power to literally create whatever it is that you want to do. And all you have to do is show up and say, this is what I want to do today. And this is what I'm going to fucking do. And I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say about it. I don't care what other people call cringe. I don't care what people judge. Okay. I don't care. Start showing up however you want to look. If you want to tie a scarf in your hair because that's how you're feeling that day, then do it. Okay, who gives a fuck what other people think? This is your life. Like, do it. Stop giving a fuck what other people think. Stop. Because their opinions, their projections, that's their own shit that they've got going on. And there are authentic people who are going to align to you, who are going to love you, who are going to love your authentic expression, who are going to love that weirdness about you. They're going to cherish that. They're going to invest in that. Okay. So, and it's the same thing for you. You know, when you see like unique individual creators on TikTok or social media, and you're like, oh my God, I love that. I love their weirdness. I love their uniqueness. Like, and you want to invest in it. You're either investing your time, your energy, or finances into bettering yourself, okay, through their unique weirdness. So that's the same thing. Like, you don't know who you're going to inspire. You don't know who you're going to motivate, whose life you're like going to save, you know? So anyway, I just had to like talk about that really quick. Okay, and then last but not least, last step you can take is doing emotional release, energy healing work, and healing your spiritual connection. So this is where I offer one-on-one sessions to do deep energy healing work to rewire your nervous system, heal your feminine energy within, and also create massive personal transformation in your life with my unique creative energy healing techniques and my psychic gifts and what I channel and can tap into in the non-physical. So those one-on-one sessions, those are exclusive. Those are limited availability, and those are for individuals who are really ready to reclaim your power. They are for those who are ready to start cultivating a life where you know that you're deserving of love, respect, and peace, okay? You're ready to release that toxic shame. You're ready to rebuild your sense of self-worth. You're really ready to start rebuilding trust within yourself. Okay, those sessions, that's what those sessions are reserved for. So if that calls to you, those are my sacred alchemy sessions. They are $500 for about 90 minutes. All right. And I'm only offering them a couple of times throughout the week. So if that is speaking to you, if you're getting full goosebumps, full body chills, then start listening to that. Start taking your first step. Okay. It's time to reclaim your power, heal your heart, and rise above that damage. Okay. So, like I said, if you're ready to break free from that narcissistic abuse, that narcissistic control, and to start stepping into a life that you truly desire to live, take that first step now. Book your sacred alchemy session with me and begin your journey of a massive transformation today. Okay. And if that's not within the budget, within your budget frame, if you really just want a piece of inspiration, my book is very short. I believe it's only 30 pages long. Okay. So here it is. This is me when I was 6 years old. This was the age that I was personally sexually abused. And this is like the very beginning of all the turmoil that I started going through. All right. So if you want to read this, it is available on Amazon as paperback or Kindle edition. For those of you who like the ebook style, I personally like to hold books. I love the way they feel. I love the way they smell. It's like such a classic for me. But yeah, this is now available as well. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you really enjoyed this video on me exposing deep psychological patterns of narcissists, please subscribe to my channel, share this video to others who have also gone through narcissistic abuse, and like this video. Please engage with the algorithm, comment if you guys want me to create more content like this that is inspirational and uplifting and educational. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.